Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another night of shadow work and gratitude. As you can see, I'm not exactly in my usual recording area, but I figure now is a great time because not only do I have someone currently in therapy for their shadow work, because sometimes you do need extra help, but tonight's topic is actually about how we're not really alone and also the best people to ask for that kind of help that we need. And I don't necessarily mean going to a therapist or even any professional, though. You know what? There are cases where I will full-blown say, definitely do so. I will never, ever, 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 ever tell you not to go to a professional for medical or psychological advice. But to kind of ease yourself into that first step, you always want to go to the people that you know and that know you, right? Even if, sometimes it's something that we should probably go to a real person for. And by real, I mean, a doctor of some sort or another, someone that went to school for these things, because they're going to know more than the average Joe. But for that first step, let's talk about the people in your life that you could ask for that help when you feel like there's no one you could. Because believe it or not, thanks to these guys right here that we'll be going over one by one, there's always someone that we know that we can go to for advice and at least get a start on getting on the right path, on taming our shadow side and making good things happen. And to do that, we're going to talk about the four kings of the tarot, because the cool thing about court cards is, you've probably heard me say this before, they don't necessarily define an actual older man, or with any of the cards really, an actual physical gender of that person. It's just the traits of that person that is typically represented in a tarot card. Well, whenever we need help with shadow work, it's best to go to an expert, hence the kings. These guys have obtained that expert and that knowledge and wisdom for a certain thing that we need. So, while you're thinking, I know like nobody who's a freaking expert in A, B, C, D, E. Yes, you do. Whether you realize it or not, when I start going over these traits, you're going to be like, there is someone. So without further ado, let's get cracking. And if you're just joining us, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. And if you'd like to catch up, definitely make sure that you go to the playlist for shadow work and gratitude, where we've been doing this all November long. We'll be wrapping it up come November 30th. Wow. 3rd, go figure. And we'll be starting a brand new chapter on getting us ready for the new year in December. So let's talk about everyone's favorite thing, materialism, because let's face it, thanks to how society has trained us, we're very materialistic creatures. And that means that we're going to start with our buddy, the King of Coins. Now, you've probably heard me mention him a couple times in some of the daily reads, but let's do a quick rundown about our King of Coins guy. Let's say your shadow work is money management and trying to juggle a career and your household. It feels impossible. Hi, how you doing? I'm right there with you. But we all know somebody who seems to have it completely together. And for me, that person, even though granted, because of age, I totally missed her juggling a house full of kids and a career. But one of the people that I come to mind most quickly is my grandmother. This woman somehow raised 4 kids with her husband regularly having medical issues because the poor man worked himself to death in a factory. She worked in a factory herself until middle age. She's a director of nursing. The woman is a freaking superhero. And even now, this beautiful, crazy woman, and I say this in the most loving way possible, juggles her retirement life with now, as I'm pretty sure she's watching, 3 of my cousins. Superhero. And keep in mind, this poor woman is not exactly a spring chicken. She's my grandma. But God's bless her if I ever need advice when it comes to juggling a career and my home life or money management, because keep in mind, like I said, this woman was raising 4 kids in the 70s and early 80s. Not exactly, living the high life, but she made it happen. So when it comes to money management and juggling the home and the personal and the career life, my grandma is my king of coins because she's got it together. And I know that each and every one of you knows at least one person that looks like they have it all together. So when you have that as your shadow work issue, be honest. It's scary to be vulnerable, but be honest, say, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you please look this over with me and help, because you look like you've got it together. And without further ado, let's move on to, honestly, probably my personal favorite, which is going to surprise some of you because you all probably think it's the King of Cups with his spirituality and emotions. No, 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 no. My BFF, when it comes to, I haven't exactly found a person for this one, but definitely as far as an attribute that I strive for, is my buddy, the King of Swords. Why do I love this guy? I'll tell you. He has his logical side and his emotional side leveled out. He is able to look at any situation with a very clear idea on how to solve this issue while keeping in the forefront of his mind emotions, while leading these people with compassion, but giving a cold, logical mindset of how to get things done. And I don't know about you guys, but I am constantly ruled and just in a battle with my emotions. Full-blown battle, because I have a very emotional personality. I never know which way is up, but I always look like I'm cool and calm and collected, right? Full-blown disclosure, my cool, calm, collected personality, absolute mask, because I am trying to embody this guy right here. So, if you happen to know somebody who just always seems to have the problem solved within minutes, but is able to do it compassionately, if your emotions are constantly running amok, go talk to that guy, because that guy apparently knows what he's doing. Or she. Because, like I said, our kings aren't necessarily always male. Sometimes the King of Swords does represent a woman. Now let's go on to our next one. Say that your issue is you are so introverted, you are afraid to make a phone call. All right, and there are people like that. I've seen them. And I've also seen them in all age levels. Or say, you've got great ideas, but you don't know how to present them to a crowd. King of Wands, man. This is a charismatic guy who knows how to work a crowd. And if you're that kind of an introverted person, or just always afraid that you're wrong because you have no confidence in yourself, I'm willing to bet you got a buddy who's a King of Wands. And you know what? Sometimes, and I'm not saying this to boost my own ego, but sometimes I am that cheerleader for these people, because quite honestly, a lot of times these people that I see with that shadow work problem are people that don't realize how amazing they are. And a lot of times, to be the best King of Wands, you gotta be a cheerleader for your buddies. And I'm willing to bet that you have a King of Wands in your life who's just super outgoing, super charismatic, and knows how to work a crowd, but most importantly knows how to make sure that everyone feels included and heard and seen, and knows how to look at someone else's idea and go, that's an excellent idea, but let's throw some glitter. So if your shadow work issue is just stepping out of your comfort zone, find your King of Wands buddy and say, hey, how can I do this? How can I pick up this phone and make that call that could change my life for the most amazing things? Or I've got this idea that I want to pitch to my boss, but I don't know how to go about it. Grab your King of Wands buddy, and they will not only make sure that you've got the cupcakes, more than likely, but they will also help you make a full-blown, amazing presentation that will turn some heads, including yours, on how well you deliver it, because they're going to help you realize the amazingness in you. Now, last but certainly not least, by any measure, we have a King of Cups. Now, the best way to work with this guy, if your shadow work issue is that you repress your emotions to the point that you are a nearly walking NPC. And my fellow gamer buddies, you know what that means. If you are not a huge gamer, it's pretty much a non-playing character where quite literally you are a robot. And we've all been there at least once in our lives. And if you haven't, God's bless you. You dodged a bullet. But if your problem is that you are so emotionally repressed that you literally don't even know how to unlock that door anymore, I want you to find your King of Cups person. The person that even on your absolute most lockdown day, you can be vulnerable and open up to them and let them know that you are tired. You can open up to them and let them know that you just feel dead inside. And not only will they hear you, but they'll help you start taking those steps to be able to start feeling your emotions again. Because coming from someone that has done a full-blown years of locking down essentially all of my emotions to the point that, as much as I'm ashamed to say this, it took years for me to actually feel any motherly connection to my children. Just because I was that emotionally shut down. I loved them, but I wasn't able to fully feel that emotion because of how long I've been emotionally shut down. Is that healthy? Obviously no. But it's because of that I'm able to confidently say that when we are emotionally shut down, that not only hurts us, but it hurts the people around us. I'm lucky that my children still chose to have a relationship with me. Do they love me? Yeah, but they don't have to have a relationship with their mom. But they still chose to. Now, for you people, I want you to find someone that you can just sit down and say, I am not okay. And that will be your first step in opening up and realizing not only is there a problem, but it'll help your King of Cups person, whether it be a parent, a best friend, a religious leader, or even, going to see a therapist so that they can start helping you not only unlock those emotions, but help you safely unlock them. Because I can tell you, again, from personal experience, going at it by yourself, you thought your teen emotions were next level, mood swingy, crazy. No. Once you unlock that door, it all floods out, and I can tell you, it's so much better if you have help. Okay? But I do hope that this helped you guys in some level or another on where to start finding that help for your shadow work, the attributes to look for, and more importantly, hopefully you realized that some of those attributes are in people that you already know and you can safely reach out to. And if not, there are so many different programs out there that it's scary. It's beyond scary. But nothing good ever comes without work and a little terror. If we're going to be perfectly honest here. And if ever at all that any of you ever just need someone to talk to for a couple of minutes, I am always happy to be an open ear. But until next time, thank you for hanging out with me. If this helped you at all, please leave a like. And if you have anything that you have a question on, feel free to leave it in the comments. I am all too happy to help. But until tomorrow, have a fabulous evening. Start doing some of that shadow work on finding people that can help you continue that journey. Because I can only hand you the tools. You got to do the rest. And have a fabulous night.